Do you believe that Jesus Christ went to the cross to pay the debt for our sin, was buried in a tomb, and rose again to life?
Yes, totally. I totally believe it.
Yes, I do. Indeed.
Yes.
I believe that Jesus Christ rose from the dead.
That's what it's all about, yeah.
That's what my hope is in. Yes, I do. Totally.
I certainly do.
Yes, I do.
Yes, very.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Is Jesus Christ alive and present in your life today?
Amazing. Yes. This year has been incredibly upside down. I'm a nurse who works at a medical hospital here, and we're the COVID floor, one of the first. Very early, my aunt passed away of COVID in March, and I've been working with COVID for all that time. At first, we were so frightened because we didn't know what it was or what was happening. So we would do the full everything, and it was good. And the fear came away when I would just say the Lord's Prayer on my way into the hospital. And the Lord was faithful. As I walked into the hospital, I felt His presence, and His peace came over me like a bubble. And so I was able to help other staff members and all of us as a team to take care of patients that were sometimes really difficult.
For me, He is in my life, and I just don't let anything faze me, especially with COVID and so on. I just know that He is in charge, and if something happens to me, there's going to be a reason for it, and He's got a plan. But and He sees the big picture. I don't see the big picture, but I do put my full trust into Him, and He does not let me down.
As He's worked through my life, I know through this whole pandemic, I've not lived in fear at all. I trust Him. I know He's there. I know He's walking beside me. I have never felt any fear during this whole thing.
Early on, when COVID first started shutting everything down, of course there was a lot of uncertainty, but I never had that panic feel. And one reason for that was because God put on my heart this one verse that sort of stuck out, and it's kind of been like my life verse for the year thus far. And it's Psalm 46, 1-3. God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble. Therefore we will not fear, though the earth give way and the mountains fall into the heart of the sea.
I believe I've come closer to the Lord lately because of COVID and different things, spending more time in my Bible, meditating on His Word, encouraging other people, talking to other people about my faith, and it's just made a difference.
That's how I felt it. I felt nudges that go out to your neighbors. Just seeing their faces brings them back into my mind more often during the day. I'm praying for neighbors and friends that don't know Him more today than before.
What God has been doing in my life in the last year has been answering prayer. And I've been praying for a lot of friends, and of course the prayer list is longer than the answered prayer list, but it is indeed happening, and I'm glad to see that my friends are being blessed by Him.
The thing that I'm so excited about for this last year is that we are now, a lot of us in the church are going through the Bible. We're starting from Genesis and working through the whole Bible, and I find that there's things that I am so startled to. I knew they were there, but I thought, oh my gosh, that's new, and that's. But the thing is that surprised me was, it's just like it is today. The people are in those days in Genesis and on, that we're no different than they are. They had their problems and they had their ups and downs, and we have them. And it kind of got really interesting that here I am, and I haven't progressed very much, but it's really wonderful to read it and see what's going on. And I get a more depth understanding of the Lord.
I just know it to be true because God is alive and Jesus is in us, and you can feel him. He guides you, God guides you in your life. Even when I was an atheist, I was a very strong person, but I didn't believe anybody was supporting me but myself. And in times like this, I feel extremely grateful that I know someone is. And even when times are bad, you know there's a reason for it, that we need to use it to build faith and love and strength in ourselves and in others. And atheists just have themselves to rely on. And it's a very lonely place. It's a very hard place, especially when things aren't going well.
My mom had a really terrible day. I took her to the doctor, and between the doctor and me, we had to just tell my mom that her cancer had returned, and we don't know how long she has to live. And then when we came back on the cabulance, we found out that we could no longer visit her at the facility she's at. But Romans 8:28 says that God works all things together for good to those who love God and who are called according to his purpose. We ended up being able to do window visits where we would do one window visit first, and then it would be window visits twice a week. And we would have our family, my brothers would come, and our extended families, the dogs, everybody. And it was like kind of a dream for my mom, because what is most important to her is for the family to get together and be together. And it was really great to see how God worked that out. She has her hope in the resurrection, and she's got a great future ahead of her.
Where I was working, decided to eliminate my job or move it to another division, and so I found myself unemployed. I realized that at some point, everything that is not of Christ is going to diminish. Our intellect is going to, we can be smart, but it's going to suffer. Our wealth is going to be used up. Possessions wear out, all these things. And that if I am looking to any of these things as for my identity, that I'm going to struggle with them. And so I understood this, but I thought I had the handle. I thought it was like, oh yeah. But then when this happened, I realized that still a lot of my identity was wrapped up in with my job. And so it was a good opportunity to correct that and to focus on that, really on what I have in him and the forgiveness and ongoing work he's doing in my life.
This past year, God has chose to redeem one of the most important relationships in my life, and that's the relationship with my daughter. That was only possible because of the changes that God did in my life over the last 5 years. So the hard work, the parts of me that needed to change, that God needed to work through so that I could have a relationship with my daughter, the fruit of all of that was the fact that now I can have a relationship with my daughter. She loves me. She wants to hold my hand. She wants to spend time with me. When she gets scared, she comes to me. When she's happy, she's excited, she wants to share that with me. She wants to sit on my lap and watch TV, stuff that I never thought we'd be able to share together.
But if you can grasp onto Jesus and the Trinity and believe that it all adds up, you can sleep at night. You can go through the day and you can have joy in your heart in spite of it all.
That's what I go to every time I start feeling worried. It's just He's in control. He's got our lives. And we can trust in Him, and He's steadfast.
The biggest thing is to be able to trust in Him. And if I have the trust and the faith, then there is no fear. But sometimes I have to really knock on that because it's hard to do, but it's important to know that that trust is the most important.
I have no fear of it, and I trust in the Lord.
God can even use the terrible things that work in our lives to bring us into a closer relationship with Him and a more honest, more truthful relationship with Him.
It's a lot. There's a lot in that little answer.
Jesus is the root and offspring of David, which was foretold and planned before He even created the world. And He's such a dear friend of all who call on Him. His love surrounds us, and He walks with us, and we can talk to Him and ask Him for help. And He's right there. He's so many times helped me.